Hey guys, so I want to talk a little bit about this week's discussion. We begin with what are some theories about the causes of autism? Well, according to our text, there's not an exact cause of ASD. However, some researchers discovered that genetics or environmental factors may cause ASD, but also it mentions that ASD presents with differences in the developmental region of our brains, and there may be some disruptions in the early stages of life. With genetics, it may play a role because some scientists believe that specific genes are a higher risk for ASD, and for that reason, there's often a link in siblings with individuals of ASD. And I don't remember the percentage, but it was a higher, like 46% higher risk. Um, also, some occurrences because of gene mutations when there isn't a known history. So it could just pop up and then now it's in the gene. Some research is being led of possible environmental factors like water or food individuals consume, the air we breathe, and even possible toxin exposure while in the womb. Additionally, many have a theory of vaccines playing a role of ASD. Working in ABA, I actually heard this one a lot, and I actually had a lot of parents warn me about this. On several occasions, I even had parents approach me and try to convince me not to vaccinate my children, and they felt very strongly about it. It was a very emotional conversation for them, and this was something that was very difficult for them, and I found it very interesting and also very emotional, and I try to take all these factors into when you're making decisions about your own kids. But I did look, and as our book mentions, the series is discredited by a lot of research and many contradict it. So that's something that I have some experience with personally. Secondly, how is assessment data used to plan instruction and to modify our instruction for students with ASD? Well, assessment data is important just in general because it allows teachers and administration and staff to identify the students' areas of strengths and weaknesses. This is important for ASD and for any disability, really. This allows for professionals to make informed instructional decisions based on the findings from those assessments. And this is important because teachers need to effectively respond to learners' needs and strengths through the use of differentiated instructions to meet their specific needs. And I know that's really hard, meeting individual needs in the classroom, but this is something that we all need to strive for. Also, assessment aids in the decision making for students and the extent of what we'll be able to implement the least restrictive environment and inclusivity in the general education classroom. It's also vital when completing multidisciplinary reports for individuals, when creating interventions and appropriate meeting the needs of the student, and deciding how these instructions and interventions will be implemented within the classroom. The assessment data also helps instructors create annual goals and objectives that are often skills that need to be addressed in the inclusive classroom. And this allows the students' interventions to be basically tailored to their unique needs, which is what a lot of these students need. Also, what role do you think the diverse backgrounds and varying language, communication, and cognitive abilities play in planning instruction for students with ASD? When students with ASD, or really any student, like I said, comes from a diverse background and has varying language, communication, or cognitive abilities, instruction must be modified to meet their needs, whatever they may be. These factors are important because these modifications need to be made on an individual level. Also, professionals need to be sensitive. I think this is really important for teachers to cultural and diverse differences and what they mean and what some of the differences that people see or consider appropriate, inappropriate. It's just so there's such a variance in it. And it's important to gain a better understanding of the students' backgrounds. I feel teachers need to invest time and energy into developing trusting relationships with the student and their families. Time is not something we have a lot of, unfortunately, but I think we need to put that effort in as much as possible. And this is all important to better align their classroom or our classroom instruction and the expectation with those of relevant cultural backgrounds and diversity. Of course, communication would be even more difficult to address with ASD and when there is a varying language found. I feel this creates an additional component of struggling to determine what is causing communication issues and language delays. and being able to appropriately identify what is possibly the leading factor playing a role in the student's delay and difficulties with communication. It just adds that extra layer, and I think that can create another component that makes evaluation, assessment, determination all even more difficult. Additionally, I think it's important to remember that because all students are different, teachers must continually work to ensure that their instructional decisions reflect the experiences and values of everyone that we teach. And it's very important to understand that there is not a one size fits all for curriculum. That's vital. We all know that. And we have to tailor to our students' needs. It's just part of our job. Some questions, which I will type out after this as well. What experience do you have working with students with ASD? And also, since I did work with students with ASD for many years, and like I said, like I spoke about with my experiences with friends and family of individuals that often do believe that the theory of vaccines, I want to know what you think about it. What are your thoughts and about this very controversial topic? Um, hope to hear from you guys. Thanks.